Good morning.
Hello everyone. Welcome to our PYP exhibition 2021 live stream. We will wait for a bit longer for everybody to join in. Thank you for your participation.
Hello and good morning, everyone. In the meantime, you can, of course, let us know in the chat that you are there. We are waiting for all your hellos from all different places, wherever you are watching, whether you are in your classrooms, with us at school, whether you are at work or at home or somewhere else. We are very curious. We already have a hello from Miss Patricia Straub, our music teacher.
And our mentor.
Good job. Fingers crossed. A good morning from Marley Hodson. Hello, good morning. And we will wait for a couple of minutes for as many people as possible to join us, and we will start. A lot of good mornings. Hello, Maxim, from a user called MMMM. Hello from Ms. Kasia Milejczak. Ms. Kasia Adamska says hello to you from the ICT room. Hello, Ms. Kasia. Shall we all wave to our guests? Let's wave. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Ms. Karolina Kaiser is supporting us from the classroom. Fingers crossed for you guys. We will rock. That's true. We will.
Okay, before we begin, we would like to thank you for being on our Animals PYP Exhibition 2021 live stream. We are so excited to be here, but a little disappointed that it's online and we cannot see you all in person.
However, we can see you in the chat, so please don't hold back from posting any questions that you have for us in the chat.
Our team members today here are Alicja Włodarek, Pia Górska, Kate Hodson, Maksym Owsianowski, Iga Przybyła, and Michalina Wiśniewska. But unfortunately, Michalina will not be joining us today. But she is with us in the chat, joining from her horse camp.
Our central idea is we are responsible for animals as we are connected to them in various ways, and our lines of inquiry plus key concepts are change, how the world of animals has changed over time, causation, the way various conditions affect animals, and responsibility, our responsibility towards the welfare of living creatures.
We encourage you to write any questions you have in the chat that you find concerning about our projects and inquiries. But before we, as we are now the experts, but before we start, we would like to announce the rules. Number 1, no spamming, and number 2, only appropriate questions. Now that we are finished, we may officially begin.
Okay, well done. We have the first question from Ms. Karolina Kaiser. How are you feeling right now, guys, during your first live stream? I think that everyone is going to have a go on this question, so let's start from Iga.
I am excited that we can share answers for your questions today. I am also a bit nervous because it's our first live stream, but I am happy we can at least meet through the monitor and answer your questions.
I am very nervous. I'm very nervous because, as you guys said, it's our first live stream, and for me,
is actually my first. I don't know about others, but it's my first live stream in any school since I've been in a lot, and yeah, I'm very nervous.
I'm very nervous because I think something could go wrong that we don't want it to go. But also, I've never done a live stream in a school nor in real life. I would never live stream because I never wanted to live stream, and it is my first one.
And I promise you're gonna love it.
I am very nervous because it's my first live stream, and that I'm scared I will mess up on my words.
I'm not that nervous about it that it's going live because I already had many live streams on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. But still it's the first presentation of the school, and it shows the whole PYP. And I am scared that it can go something wrong, or just because of the stress or being nervous, I can forget something and just stand and do nothing.
So probably we are all starting with a little bit of stage fright, but I know that everyone who is watching us will be very understanding and very cheering and encouraging. We have first question from a student. It's Sophie from G5A. Thank you, Sophie. Can you briefly tell our audience, guys, what you were inquiring into during your whole unit of inquiry about animals? Shall we start from the other end now, from Ala?
So I was inquiring into animal habitats.
I was inquiring into endangered African animals.
I was inquiring into how human actions influence ocean life and also evolution.
I inquired the timeline of domestication in animals.
I was inquiring into how humans' impact on the animal kingdom.
Thank you, guys, for answers. Another question from the chat is, why do we need animals in our life?
Animals are very important as for, they produce milk, they produce food, they make us happy. They actually, they are very important for the planet, because without animals, there would be, no food at all. More or less maybe we could live without animals, but it would be very, very difficult.
If there were no animals, for example, cats, we would be drowning in mice. My brother told me, because in some countries there are already mouses everywhere. But also horses in transportation, dogs. They also help us move because you need to take them out from the house, and that's what my family really appreciates usually. But also without animals, the world, it will be very lonely. It's not only about the food, the milk, and the feed. It's also that they're our friends and we need them.
I'm gonna say something opposite to what Iga said. If there were no animals, there would be no life on Earth, because don't forget about insects. And what do insects do with plants? Pollination. Pollination is a process when they make fruits. When there's no fruits, there's no animals. When there's no animals, there's no meat eaters. When there's no meat eaters, there is no us.
Some animals can be nice for pets, like dogs, and some animals like bees can help us survive because they help us get food.
The living without animals would be sad, especially the pets or just into our psychics. So the petting the pet is so satisfying, and it can help get out of some psychical problems or something like that. There are things like dog therapy or other animal therapy that is specially made for the people that are somehow sick and need the being with an animal. And without it, it would be just tricky for them even to survive.
Thank you guys for that. So as you can see, dear audience, we have as many perspectives, as many inquirers in this unit of inquiry. Well done. We have another question from Marla, G3A. Hello, Marla, and thank you for your question. Hello. Can you catch a fish from a lake? So this is a question from somebody who was inquiring into the water life. And let me continue the question. From a lake or sea, and then keep it at home. Who is an expert on that topic? Pia and Maxim.
So, if you want to catch a fish, you need to make the right conditions. If you catch it, you need to get the same water that's from the water source that you caught it from. You also need to make it comfortable and make sure it doesn't starve to death. You need to feed it and have a sizable tank for it to swim in. But when you have a larger fish, it's a lot harder to have these conditions. Also, don't be bad and give the fish some decorations like corals or artificial plants, because they are very nice for the fishies.
Pia, would you like to add anything?
No, I was just...
Okay, awesome. This was quite a nice and elaborate answer to that question. Thank you, Maxim. In the meantime, we get a lot of smiley faces from our guests. A smiley face from Miss Aga Donai, hello. Ernest Person says hi. You have a lot of comments here on how awesome you are. So you are doing a great job, even though at the beginning you said you were stressed. Another question is, what was the most surprising thing that you learned during preparing for this exhibition gala, during all your research? What was the most surprising thing? Iga and then Maxim.
A very surprising thing is that I found out how much we actually do waste, because I was in Humans' Impact on the Animal Kingdom, and it was just, I was very sad about it, but also it was quite weird for me that we actually produce so much waste and everything. We run the animal kingdom so much. That's very surprising to me. I knew we'd run it, but not at that point.
I found out that actually fish are overfished and almost every single location. And it was very surprising for me, but not as much, because sometimes I know how much impact we do, but I didn't know that this is the huge impact. Learning about the microplastics also didn't help me, because sometimes people eat fish with plastic in them. I'm not a fish lover, but still this surprises me the most, because I don't like fishies dying.
Thank you. Kate would like to add, so can you pass the microphone?
For me, the most interesting thing was learning about new animals, like the addax. I didn't know what that existed. And for me, I didn't know the African lion was endangered, and other animals.
For me, the surprising thing about some of the habitats was that some of the habitats contain a really not big population of animals, like 2 species or 3, like for example the bamboo or the caves.
Thank you. And speaking of endangered animals, we have a question that could continue this discussion. Why do animals become extinct? I think Kate is the expert on that, so we will first listen to her, and then the rest of you will be able to join.
Animals become extinct because of a few reasons. Because first, people they like hurt them and they poach them for fun reasons, like for their horns or their whiskers or claws or something. And they also might want to do it because they think it can cure medicine. It can make medicine and cure people. And also to make souvenirs and things.
Thank you.
First reason, obviously, it's money, because why not? People sell rhinos' horns, like Kate said, but they also sell elephants' tusks, lions' fur, I think, and some others. But the second reason is nature, mass extinctions, like the one with the dinosaurs. An asteroid hit, and then most of the organisms die because they adapted to be big and strong. But also, there was a garbage wasteland, obviously, after that impact, so it was not easy to survive there. No food and no animals.
Thank you.
And there's another reason. It's also the black market. People cut down trees in like the rainforests to plant palm trees farms, and the orangutans that survive, they take them to the black market and sell them. But most of them are most of them die in the process of making the palm oil farm.
Thank you. So far we have some actions that are caused by humans, but also some natural causes that we have no control over.
Last thing to add to the extinction topic. Animals can become extinct of many different reasons, especially deforestation, killing animals for their, for example, horns or fins, and overfishing them, or fishing them to the max. Maxim should probably know this, but 89% of the ocean is either overfished, either fished to the max.
I actually know the scale by heart. It's 58% of the fish are overfished, and 58 are fished to the max, and 37 are overfished. But I don't know for sure if the 37.
This is amazing.
31.
Okay. Thank you. Well done. And it's impressive how this knowledge is still alive in your memory. Thank you. We have a question from Ms. Justyna Łukasik on behalf of Marta, G5A. Do you know how to convince your parents to allow you to keep a pet at home?
I know.
Let's go.
For me, it was like a fight after the dog I met first in my family died. I was like bragging my mom for a dog, and she told me she was like, I think she was like so tired because I am the best in my family to brag, so she was like. But because I was small, I was very. She couldn't like just say no. She was. She told me that I first had to go train because some kids like don't want to take their pets out because they're just like too lazy. So she told me that we need to go on like outside from the house, I need to take her on a leash from the bag, and we go outside, and I need to hold her. Yeah, and that's how I made my mom get us a dog.
That's a nice tip. Any more tricks on the parents to allow you to keep animals at home?
Well, you have to prove that you're very responsible, because animal is a great responsibility. There's always also a great amount of advantages that a dog or a cat could give you. For example, you will stick to the computer less. Oh my god, my mom is really thinking about that one. You have someone to play with. You have someone to cheer you up. And the dog makes you move more.
So far, only advantages.
So didn't need to convince my mom, because we are dog lovers and all pet lovers. So we have fish and a lot of pets. We have 2 parrots, but more. But the way that we have convinced my dad to buy the dog is because of dog of therapy. And also because the dog was the cutest one. It's really a special dog. I can't believe what we would do without that dog, because it is so cute that you cannot even imagine having it in your own life.
So the thing I and my parents showed us, probably the G5 classes watching us know that I have many pets. And my dad is a vet. Many people could think that it's because of that, but it's not, because he actually don't want any animals in our house. But before I got my dog, I was psychically a little bit dead. I was just, I don't know even how to describe that, but it was bad with me. Then I have 2 lizards that the convincing was really easy, because my brother also has a lizard, and I was just jealous. I had 4 years, so I was a little bit yeah. And how to say no to a little poor child that doesn't have a lizard, right? So I got a lizard, and I don't have any contact with this. So it's actually, the convincing depends on the animal you want to have. If it's a dog, it's actually harder, but gets more advantages. And with the, for example, lizards or some fishes or anything, it's easier to do it, but you don't get any contact with it, or just a small contact, so it wouldn't be that fun as, for example, making more of the convincing and getting a dog that could live for you for 20 years.
Thank you. And Kate?
We got dogs mostly because in South Africa we use them as security, and because they are, well, our family loves dogs, so we got 2 dogs.
So you gotta love the animals, right? Anything else? Okay, thank you. Meryl Hodson is asking, actually commenting, Pia, I was interested to see that dogs were domesticated before animals like horses or camels. Why do you think that is? Domestication of dogs.
Because, could you read the question again?
Meryl Hodson was interested to see that dogs were domesticated before animals like horses or camels. So first the dogs, then horses or camels. Why is that?
So I think people, because people use them as dogs to help them to hunt, and help them with hunting. People also felt better with a friend, because you can interact with a dog, or like Ala said before, you can get more. You can interact with it. He can, for example, about interaction. My mom, when she like, dogs also care about you, because when my mom is like a bit sick, she coughs a bit, then my dog just, when she hears a weird noise coming from my mom, she just runs to her and starts licking her. And also a dog, it's not only about like the work, as I told before, it's also about the like, also it can help you with like any sicknesses. It's also, it's security, it's also like hunting, and yes.
Okay, well done. Thank you for that answer. In the meantime, we have a lot of supporting messages. Everybody is happy to see you guys. They are cheering you up. There's nothing to be worried about. Everything is going to be okay. There are those icons like thumbs up, a smiley face with sunglasses, so you probably know what that means. And another question from Helena, G3A. Thank you, Ms. Justyna Łukasik, for posting those questions so well. Is it important to have a pet? Why or why not? Is it important to have a pet? I think we can start from Maxim, then Ala, then Kate.
I think it's important to have a pet. For example, if you have a sibling that is annoying you, but also...
Yes.
I'm an example of that. But also, if you don't have a sibling and you want some company, you can always have dogs or cats. But I would suggest having dogs, because cats are pets. I can agree with that. But they always just sit around, wait for somebody to interact with them.
They take the best seat in the house.
Yes. And also, when they are here, they will scratch you if you try to take it. The dogs are more playful than cats. They will play basically with everything. Cats may be the same, and everybody that has a cat, I'm sorry for my opinion, but I just feel that dogs are better than cats. But cats are awesome too.
Just for a second, coming back to what Maxim said, it's not really like that with cats. I have a cat and she is like that, but like taken away to my dog, she also takes the best place. Always. She's always on my place and never let me in. But there are some cats that are really nice. They're like more domesticated. I have to say it for... They're like kind of dog, but still a cat cannot be a dog and a dog cannot be a cat. Not really, you know. And coming back to is it important to have an animal? It all depends on what animal is it and what kind of person you are. Because like a dog is to be your friend, to pet them and be with them, but it's really tricky to take responsibility of them. It's you have to be with them long time. You have to go for them with the on the walks and etc. But with the cats, for example, you don't have to take a cat for a walk. They will go alone or just do it at home. And fishes, they will make a person happy because it's just nice to look on colorful animals that are just going through the water and making you happy. But you don't have the contact, so it all depends. But in my opinion, it's important to every kid to have at least one pet, no matter what is it.
Thank you. Iga is raising her hand here.
Now, I agree that dogs are more playful and interactive than cats, but some cats are also interactive, just like my cat. He is a playboy, and he loves getting petted.
So it's a very social animal.
Still, you won't interact with a cat like with a dog, or with a fish like with a lizard. Well, yeah. Or with a lizard like a dog, and like this.
Anybody else?
Well, now I know why catfish are named catfish, because they're lazy and cats are lazy. And you just make them a fish and they're just lazy fish because they're cats.
There we go. An explanation for everything.
As I said, dogs are for security, and it's also important because they are used as friends and to keep you entertained and to have a big responsibility. And
Thank you. Anyone would like to add to this, or shall we go to the next question?
Next question.
Next question. Julek from our class. Hello, Julek. What was the hardest thing during your inquiry? And here each of you was diving into a slightly different aspect. So I think more than one person will have something to say.
So in my inquiry, it was like that. It was really tricky to find something new, because when you search some of the habitats, it just pop out the marine habitat is water with fish and turtles or something, but it actually didn't give any information on the G5 level, and it was really hard to find things to take to my topic, not to disappoint anyone or just not to make myself a G1 student, for example.
The hardest thing was, like Ala said, to find a source that could actually help us, because every single time I knew what was it, especially on evolution. It was hard for me to find something that I could talk about, because I basically know everything about it. And also marine life is one of my favorites. So I learned something new, but also I had matched up some of my mind's thoughts with the things that I knew.
Maxim, I would like you to elaborate more on this, what you said, because many people can agree that your knowledge is amazing and very broad. So to any people in your situation, what would you advise them, and where should they look for information that they actually don't know?
They should look into certain quizzes or questions, but also into different sources and YouTube videos, because we were talking about overfishing. I never heard about overfishing, but I knew that people caught fish with the nets. I never knew that the oceans were overfished and that they caught turtles, dolphins, seabirds with the nets. I never knew all of that. So that was all just from one YouTube video in 5 minutes. There's a lot of knowledge in that.
Thank you. Pia, anything to add? No. About your inquiry, what was difficult? Was there anything?
Well, it was really hard for me to find, like Ala said, something new, because every time I wanted some new information, and I had a lot of it, but I wanted to know more about my topic. I searched up, for example, timeline of domestication in animals. I wrote something different, and every time it showed me the same thing.
What was hard in my research? Yes, what was hard in my research was that it's quite hard to find topics. Even though it might seem easy how humans impact on the animal kingdom, you can just repeat the same thing over and over, no more. Because everyone knows that the forests are being destroyed, and it's very hard to find info about it. So, as Zosha said on her previous live stream, if anyone was there, the research was the hardest for me.
I've got this one now, thank you. Well done. But luckily, and as we could all see in your presentations, you managed to overcome those difficulties and, well, successfully in the end. We have another question from Ms. Kasia Adamska this time. Hello, Ms. Kasia, and thank you for your question. What were the crucial skills, PYP skills, you needed during your exhibition project? Crucial skills. Maxim.
A lot of communication skills, a lot of researching skills or inquiry skills. And I basically used a lot of animations in my presentations. Also formatting and a lot of different skills, but it was hard to use them all. It's hard to mention them all because there's so many, I cannot even mention them. The main ones were inquiry skills, self-management skills, and the making of the presentation, but I don't know which skill is responsible for that, so...
Okay, thank you for this. There are so many questions in the chat. Let's go to another one. This one is very interesting. Which animals can survive in extreme conditions? This is a little bit about adaptation. Maxim?
Tardigrades, and that's the answer. Tardigrades, if you've never heard of them, they're only 2 centimeters long, so I doubt you have ever heard of them. But they can survive extreme cold temperatures and extreme hot temperatures, like throwing them into space. A couple of years later, they returned back, which is basically impossible for an animal. They are extreme animals built for withstanding different temperatures and different things. There's also a beetle that you cannot crush because its shell is so hard.
Okay, thank you very much. I think another question can also be for Maxim. Do you know the name of the first dinosaur?
One of the first dinosaurs was the Coelophysis, but we don't know which dinosaur came the first. But it was definitely one of the first ones was the Coelophysis, which means is hopping foot. I don't know how to say it properly. Either Coelophysis or a Saltopus. It's I don't know for sure.
Thank you. And let's move on to another question. Nowadays, when there is so much said about ecology and eco-friendly life and environment protection, what is your opinion? Should animals be still used in sports, so for entertainment, like polo or horse jumping? What is your opinion on that, Alicia?
In my opinion, the animal sports, most of them are not bad for them. Like, for example, the horse jumping. Of course, they're not bad if we don't overuse the animals. Because some people, it already happened really often, that they were just training with no pauses or letting the animal just chill for a second. It was a bad example, but yeah. And the worst sport of animals that still happens sometimes in China or Japan, it's the dog fight. It's really bad. People nowadays start to like stop it, but it still happens. Some years ago, like many years ago, it was really popular. And people were just stealing dogs from the outside and taking them to the place where they will fight, and they would just look at the dogs and make fun of them and etc. But there's also a sport. Michalina actually inquired into the animals in sports, but I also know something of that because yeah, my dog was
Remember, the question was about your opinion. So what do
Yes.
you personally think about this?
I think that it's good until we don't overuse the animals, or it's not some fights, or just animal can do it, and it's not under.
Thank you. Anybody else would like to add to this? Iga?
I don't think that animals should be excluded from sports, but they should not be overused. The thing is that I sometimes watch YouTube videos where animals race and they don't do anything, like the tortoise and the hare. I saw two animals just being put into two corridors, and that's it. And they were just racing for food, and the hare actually stopped to see the location, and the tortoise continued. There was no painful stuff in there aside from loud noise. But it was pretty emotional because nobody thought the tortoise would win, I think. I didn't watch it to the I watched it to the end, but there was nothing said about the audience opinions. Also, sports with horses, I think they need to be good treated to obviously be included in sports. If they're not good treated, they should not be included in sports.
I agree with Maxim. They should, and Ara, they should not be overused. Also, dogfighting should be stopped because this is just fighting dogs that could live together in peace, for example. Just fighting against each other because humans want them to. And the dogs don't even have a choice, as Pia said.
That's true. They follow their owner, right?
Horse riding isn't that bad as long as the horse is goodly fed and took care of, because the horse cannot be used. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I think another question can be a nice continuation of this answer. Marta Michalczuk from G4B. Hello, Marta. Thank you. She's asking, how can we protect animals?
We can protect animals by not eating fish so much, but also we can protect them by stopping everybody from the black market, like cutting down these trees that Iga said, but also killing animals only for one part of their body. And let's talk about some reusable uses, like, for example, wood can be used for houses. You don't have to chop 1,000 trees, you can chop 2 down. That's enough wood for a house with 2 stories and a garden. There's enough things to sustain a whole house in there. 2 jungle trees are like 20 meters tall, which is huge. And they're taller than the tallest dinosaur. That was, by the way, 17 meters tall. I won't go into the details, but basically we could stop these animals, because the animal treatment and also throwing away plastic. We would not throw it into the ocean, but I don't really know where else we could throw it. Maybe into space or into the sun so that it melts the plastic before it hits.
So people are still thinking and trying to invent the solution, right, to this?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for this, Maxim. Any more to this question?
I guess that we could just make some foundations or something like that, some hang posters about it. If you see something just that people are doing something wrong with the animal, just but be careful with it, because if you for example, report to the police when someone is just taking a dog for a walk and little bit yeah, pulling it, it's nothing actually serious or bad, because once I had a dog that it was a It was a jamnik.
Dachshund.
Dachshund, and my mom had it, and he was just sitting, and he was like really him. But to stop it, like we can report the big things, like for example, seeing some, hitting a dog with some. It's a little bit too much maybe, but with a knife or something, or just torturing like kind of, or see some or anything that you seem that is really bad. Just report it or make some foundations, hang posters about it, make a website on internet to protect it. You can make or join some, for example, the foundations on Facebook. There are many things like that. For example, to protect the tigers, the animals in dog fights, and many different ones.
So all of that, Ala, that you're saying seems like basically raising awareness around you
Yes.
and in the whole community, because people very likely don't know how many areas need support, not only financial, but also some action from people who can actually change something, right? Okay, thank you for this. We have another question that takes us back to your journey and your inquiry a little bit. You already said what things were difficult. Now, what were the most interesting or surprising things you came across during your research? Iga.
I came across something surprising. For example, that like a few surprising things. For example, that the northern white rhino is so close at extinction. I didn't think rhinos could be that close to extinction. There's only 2 northern white rhinos in the world. And I also came across something interesting, that people actually sell animals on the black market, and they actually take exotic animals out of their natural habitats, and that is very dangerous for the exotic animal.
Thank you, Iga. In the meantime, a kind reminder from your dad, Mr. Tomasz Przybyła. Iga, keep smiling. Hello, Iga's dad.
For me, the most interesting thing I found out was that overfishing is so impactful, and also that people hunt whales for money or for food, which is wasteful because sometimes they just go to trash and stuff. The meat gets aged and you cannot eat it anymore. So, yeah, and also one of the most interesting other facts was that the Earth was formed actually 4.6 billion years ago, which is a lot. And what Iga said, the northern white rhinos, I think she got it from me because I told her that there were 2 last females passing out in the African savanna.
Iga, would you like to add something?
It was actually from our guest speaker, Miss Joanna, our biology teacher, and she told us about the white rhinos.
Okay, thank you very much. And we have some more questions about the whole process of exhibition preparation. How long did it take? This is a question from Dalia, G4A, so you can see that your younger friends from ISOP are very, very curious, because this is the place that they will probably be sitting next year. How long? Maxim.
It took us 6 or 7 weeks. I am not sure, but I think it took us 6 weeks. And now we are entering the 7th week with the live streams and reflections.
That is correct. It was 6 weeks preparing for exhibition.
Thank you. Another question. Many questions about whether you guys own a pet, but this was already answered at the beginning when you were sharing tips for how to convince your parents. Favorite animals. Each of you probably has their own favorite animals, so let's just pass the microphone on across the stage and say your animal.
My favorite animals are birds. I love owls and parrots. They're so adorable.
I have two favorite pets. The first one is horses, and the second one is a dog.
So what do you expect from me? It's obviously doggos, but if you're talking about animals from the past, it's dinosaurs.
My favorite pet animal is a dog, but then if it's in like any other animal other than a pet, like maybe a leopard or any African predator.
I actually cannot make any big choice, but 3 animals that, in my opinion, could go for the top 3 are the fennec foxes, horses, and of course dogs.
Thank you, guys. Another question from G4. How does animal testing affect environment? Alicja.
So we're not in environment, but the animal testing is good and bad. It also depends on what things are you testing on animals, because if it's some cosmetics, it's absolutely useful and really, really bad, because you don't need it's not that important to, for example, have a super cool lipstick or something like that. But if it's a medicine, it's actually better. And think about it. Would you prefer to someone from your family or your friend die, or 3,000 rats die? I would pick the family member, even though.
Thank you, Ala. In the meantime, we have a wonderful question from a wonderful person, our PYP coordinator, Ms. Małgorzata Pyda. Let's wave to her all. Hello, Ms. Gosia. Ms. Gosia is asking, dear animal team, have you acquired any new skills during the PYP exhibition? Something that you will carry with you into the middle school and throughout your lives? What has the exhibition taught you?
For me, the exhibition taught me that we need to respect animals more, and you need to respect animals more.
For me, I developed more research skills because I was not good at research, and now I'm better at it than before.
For me, research skills and communication skills.
For me, it was definitely the communication.
For me, it was communication. The whole exhibition was hard after all. 1 second, no, wrong answer. I mean, if I was gonna pick something that I would remember, not pick, but if I was gonna have something that I would remember for the rest of my life, it would be probably how we can take action for how we can help the animals, how much of the animals are being tested, how much everything is being tested on animals.
Thank you, Iga. Thank you, guys. Another question, very, very interesting, from G4 Marta Michalczuk. Hi, Marta, and thank you. A very up-to-date question. Are there any sicknesses that we share with animals?
Yes.
One of them is rabies, but I don't know anymore.
So one of them with the cats, actually, we share the COVID with cats. And that's why some of the cats, or I don't know, it's like, yeah, I'm not so much interested or just not really in it, that they are preparing the vaccination for cats, or they're already vaccinated some, because people can, it's tricky with the cats, because cats go outside. They can meet some people with COVID. Then they can get the COVID and get the COVID to the person. So, yeah, it's not that easy to have a cat nowadays. I really don't know.
It's also similar with the birds. My brother told me that the birds get COVID and then they don't have it at the second that they get it. They wait, and they also they don't just get ill straight away, but they pass it around they pass it around to humans, and then they get ill later.
Thank you very much. Now we have a question directly to Kate. Kate, have you seen the African wild dog while you were living in South Africa? And where did you see them?
When we were in South Africa, we went to a game park called Kruger, and the first animal we saw was a pack of wild dogs eating with pups.
Kate, coming back to your presentation, you wrote you inquired into endangered animals. Have you seen any more of them live? Because your examples were quite exotic.
I've seen white rhinos, but southern white rhinos, not northern.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen lions and elephants. And we haven't seen pangolins, but my dad's friend for, I think, Christmas, put a tracker on a pangolin saying it was ours for the year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's
Okay, well, this is still very impressive and beautiful memories. Guys, I don't know if you are aware of the time, but nearly an hour has passed already of this beautiful Q&A session. Let me read some comments. There is a lot of support in the chat for you. There are lots of hearts. People are proud of you, especially your parents. I recognize some of your parents here. It must be your mom, yes. This is what I understood. She loves you very much. She is so proud. There are lots of congratulations for you guys in the chat. Also some funny questions, which I'm not going to read. I would like to apologize if I omitted any questions from the chat. There are literally gazillions of them. And I tried to pick the most relevant ones.
142 people on this live stream. I'm not surprised.
They are actually, and we are so happy to have such a huge audience. I think that before we disconnect and before we can fully celebrate this beautiful event, guys, let's remind your names, name and surname. Okay, starting from Ala. coming back to Iga.
I'm Alicia Włodarek and just returning to the animal testing. If you want to get yourself a mouse, rat, or a bunny, or a rabbit, just take it from the laboratories. It will help their life make easier and happier.
My name is Kate Hudson.
I'm Maksym Owsianowski.
My name is Pia Górska.
I am Iga Przybyła.
And Michalina Wiśniewska, that was probably with us in the chat.
Thank you very much. I think we can now start celebrating in the classroom. Thank you, our wonderful audience. We are waving to you. We are sending you bunches of kisses and hugs. Thank you very much. And next year we are hoping to see our younger students here in the same place. Bye. The end.